What does it mean to live a moral life? Is morality a set of unchanging rules carved into the foundations of existence, guiding us through the centuries? Or is it a flexible system, shaped by culture, by history, and by the circumstances we find ourselves in? For thousands of years, philosophers have wrestled with these questions. They have argued, disagreed, and challenged one another, offering competing visions of what it means to be good, to be just, and to live rightly. In this video, we will embark on a long journey, a philosophical journey into the very heart of morality. We'll travel from the wisdom of ancient Greece to the dilemmas of modern technology. Along the way, we'll explore the great ethical theories, the clash between absolute and relative values, the role of religion, and the struggles of morality in our rapidly changing world. This will not be a short conversation. This is an hour-long exploration. An invitation to slow down, to think deeply, and to reflect on how morality shapes your own life and the world around you. So sit back. Let's begin our journey into the philosophy of morality. To understand morality, we need to step back. Way back, more than 2,000 years ago, to the marketplaces and academies of ancient Greece, where some of the first recorded debates about morality began. Imagine Athens in the 5th century BC. A bustling city of trade, politics, and ideas. Amid the noise of merchants and the shouts of citizens gathered for democratic assembly, there is a man who stands apart. A man who does not write, but who questions. His name, Socrates. Socrates believed that morality wasn't simply about obeying laws or traditions. Instead, he thought true morality came from reason and reflection. He famously asked, "Is something good because the gods command it, or do the gods command it because it is good?" This question, known as the Euthyphro dilemma, cuts straight to the core of moral philosophy. If something is only good because the gods command it, then morality seems arbitrary. It could change depending on divine whim. But if the gods command something because it is good, then goodness exists independently, even above the gods themselves. This single question opened up an entire field of thought. Is morality divine, or is it rational? Is it revealed or discovered? Socrates' student, Plato, took the idea further. He believed morality is eternal, unchanging, and absolute. In his philosophy, goodness exists in the world of forms, a realm beyond physical reality where perfect versions of truth, beauty, and justice exist. To live morally, Plato argued, is to align your soul with this higher reality. But then came Aristotle, who took a more practical approach. Unlike Plato, Aristotle didn't believe in some distant realm of perfect forms. For him, morality was about how humans can flourish in everyday life. He introduced the idea of eudaimonia, often translated as human flourishing or the good life. According to Aristotle, the moral life is one of balance, achieved by cultivating virtues like courage, generosity, and wisdom. Think of a soldier on the battlefield. If he runs away, he is a coward. If he rushes in recklessly, he is foolhardy. But if he fights bravely with reason, he demonstrates the virtue of courage. Aristotle's morality was not about rigid rules, but about developing a character that could navigate life wisely. So already, in ancient Greece, we see a division that still exists today. For some, morality is absolute, eternal, and universal. For others, morality is practical, human, and situational. Both views continue to influence how we think about right and wrong in the modern world. While Greece shaped much of Western philosophy, other civilizations explored morality in profound ways, often reaching very different conclusions. In China, the teachings of Confucius emphasized harmony, respect, and duty within relationships. Morality was not an abstract code, but something lived out in daily interactions, between ruler and subject, parent and child, friend and friend. The moral life was about fulfilling one's role in society with integrity. In India, Hindu philosophy developed the concept of dharma, moral duty tied to one's stage of life, one's role in society, and one's spiritual path. To act against your dharma was to create disorder, both for yourself and for the world around you. In Buddhism, morality was inseparable from the path to enlightenment. The 5 precepts: do not kill, do not steal, do not lie, do not misuse sexuality, and do not intoxicate the mind, were not mere restrictions but practices aimed at reducing suffering and cultivating compassion. Even in indigenous traditions, morality was deeply tied to community and nature. To act morally was to live in balance, not just with other people, but with the earth, the animals, and the spirits. So morality, across cultures, was never just about individual behavior. It was always about relationships, with society, with the cosmos, with nature, or with the divine. One of the most enduring debates in philosophy is this: is morality universal, or is it relative? Moral absolutists argue that some things are always right or always wrong. Murder, for example, is condemned in virtually every society. Thinkers like Immanuel Kant insisted that morality comes from rational duty, not from personal preference or cultural habits. His famous categorical imperative demands that we act only according to principles we could will as universal laws. If lying were acceptable for me, it would have to be acceptable for everyone, and that would destroy trust entirely. On the other hand, moral relativists argue that morality depends on culture, context, or even individual perspective. What one society praises, another may condemn. In some cultures, loyalty to family outweighs truth-telling. In others, honesty is valued above all else. The philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche even suggested that much of morality is simply a tool, created by the weak to restrain the strong. He criticized traditional morality as a slave morality that denied human creativity and power. Thought experiment. Imagine a guest is offered food in a foreign land. In one culture, refusing the food is deeply insulting. In another, eating that food may be seen as immoral. Who is right? Both? Neither? This is the puzzle of moral relativism. To bring order to moral thought, philosophers have developed ethical systems, frameworks for deciding what is right or wrong. Let's explore the most influential ones. 1. Deontology. Associated with Kant, this system focuses on duty and rules. The morality of an action does not depend on consequences but on whether it follows universal moral principles. For example, lying is wrong, no matter the outcome. 2. Utilitarianism. Championed by Jeremy Bentham and John Stuart Mill, this view holds that morality is about maximizing happiness and minimizing suffering. The right action is the one that produces the greatest good for the greatest number. 3. Virtue ethics. From Aristotle, this approach focuses not on rules or results, but on character. The question isn't just, what should I do? But, what kind of person should I be? Morality is about cultivating virtues, like kindness, honesty, and courage. 4. Social contract theory. Developed by thinkers like Thomas Hobbes, John Locke, and Jean-Jacques Rousseau, this theory sees morality as an agreement. Humans give up certain freedoms to live together peacefully, creating rules that allow society to function. Each theory has strengths and weaknesses. Deontology protects principles but can seem rigid. Utilitarianism values outcomes but may justify injustice if it serves the majority. Virtue ethics shapes character but gives less guidance in complex dilemmas. Social contract theory explains cooperation but depends on agreement that may not be fair to all. Example. Imagine a doctor with 5 dying patients in need of organ transplants. A healthy traveler arrives. Should the doctor sacrifice the one to save the 5? A utilitarian might say yes, more lives are saved. A deontologist would say no, it's murder, and murder is always wrong. A virtue ethicist would ask, what would a truly good doctor do? A contract theorist might ask, what rules would rational people agree to in society? Each framework tells a different story. For much of history, morality has been grounded in religion. In Christianity, morality is tied to divine commandments, Love thy neighbor, forgive, show mercy, and seek justice. Sin is not just breaking a rule, but damaging one's relationship with God. In Islam, morality is expressed through Sharia, a set of principles covering justice, charity, honesty, and personal conduct. At its heart is the idea of accountability before God. In Judaism, morality is seen in the covenant between God and His people. Following the Torah is not just obedience, but a way of living in harmony with divine will. In Eastern traditions, morality is often linked to karma, the idea that actions create consequences across lifetimes. Doing good is not only about this life but about the entire cycle of existence. Yet even within religion, the question arises, are things good because God commands them, or does God command them because they are good? This echoes Socrates' dilemma and continues to challenge theologians and philosophers alike. Beyond divine law, some philosophers look to human nature itself for the origins of morality. Thomas Hobbes argued that humans are naturally selfish and competitive. Without morality and laws, life would be nasty, brutish, and short. Morality, then, is necessary to prevent chaos. Jean-Jacques Rousseau, however, saw humans as naturally good, corrupted by society. For him, morality was not about restraining selfishness but about recovering a natural compassion lost in civilization. David Hume emphasized emotion. He believed morality comes not from reason, but from feeling, especially empathy. We care about others because we are capable of sympathy. Modern evolutionary psychology takes yet another view. Morality developed as a survival mechanism. Cooperation, trust, and fairness made groups stronger. Over time, these instincts became embedded in our behavior. So perhaps morality is not something outside of us, but something deeply human, woven into our very biology. The modern world presents new challenges to morality, ones that ancient philosophers could never have imagined. Technology. Should artificial intelligence be given moral consideration? If an AI can think, feel, or suffer, do we owe it rights? Medicine. Is it moral to genetically engineer humans? Should we alter human DNA to remove disease, or even to enhance intelligence or strength? Environment. Do we have obligations not only to people alive today, but to future generations, or even to non-human life? Climate change forces us to expand morality to a planetary scale. Global justice. Is extreme wealth inequality a moral failing? If some live in abundance while others starve, can that ever be considered just? These dilemmas show morality is not static. It evolves as our world changes. Another question philosophers ask, does morality limit freedom, or make freedom possible? Friedrich Nietzsche saw morality as a cage, chains invented to restrain the strong, to keep human beings from expressing their full potential. He called for a revaluation of values, encouraging individuals to create their own morality rather than follow inherited rules. But Immanuel Kant disagreed. For him, true freedom was not doing whatever we want, but living according to reason. A person enslaved to their desires is not truly free. Only when we act according to moral law, freely chosen by reason, are we genuinely autonomous. So perhaps morality is not an enemy of freedom, but its highest expression. Today, morality faces challenges unlike any before. Globalization exposes us to different moral systems. What once seemed universal now appears cultural. The internet connects us instantly, but also creates new ethical issues: privacy, misinformation, manipulation. Climate change demands a morality that includes not only people alive today, but countless generations yet to come. And technology forces us to ask, if we can create life, alter life, or even merge human and machine, what does it mean to be moral in this new reality? Perhaps morality is evolving into something broader, not just rules within nations or religions, but principles for humanity as a whole. So, after all this, what is morality? For some, it is divine law. For others, it is reason and duty. For others still, it is compassion, empathy, or even survival strategy. Maybe morality is not one thing. Maybe it is a dialogue, an ongoing conversation humanity must have with itself in every generation. Morality might not give us perfect answers, but it gives us better questions. And in those questions lies meaning. So what is morality? A divine command? A rational principle? An instinct for survival? Or a story humanity tells itself to hold the world together? Perhaps the true value of morality lies not in finding final answers, but in continually seeking them. Thank you for joining this journey into morality. If you found value in this exploration, consider subscribing, sharing, and continuing the conversation. Because philosophy does not live in answers, it lives in questions.